I see us as the global force when it comes to educating people who've been underrepresented, undervalued, and forgotten, really, throughout the diaspora.
When you think of education, a lot of times financial literacy is not taught in the school.
At all.
And that's one of the most important things that we need in life, no matter what you do for a career.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Ross Mack, and welcome to Financial Freestyle here on Yahoo Finance. Now look, no matter where you at in your journey, you can never stop learning. And that's why I'm so honored to have some of my brothers here today, Troy and Rashad from Earn Your Leisure, literally one of the top podcasts in the world, top 20 in business right now. How you guys doing, man? Appreciate y'all coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Happy to be here, man.
It's hard. I've been trying to get them on for probably like 2-3 months. You know, I've been getting a little bro for quite some time. So I appreciate you guys making the time.
I mean, we make time for the things that are important, man. So we're happy to be here. Every time you've called, we try to come, and what we call is the same. So
man,
pleasure.
So listen, y'all coming off a legendary weekend, which I was honored to actually be there and speak. Let's actually talk about InvestFest, man. To my count, I didn't have a clicker, but it looked like 10, 15,000 people, man. After 7,000, you kind of lose count. Let's talk about that weekend, man.
Yeah, it was an incredible weekend. 10 to 15,000 might have been one day. Yeah, but I mean, we take great pride in that, to see like-minded people come together for a unique experience, right? Where culture and commerce meet, where networking happens, where business ideas happens, where innovation happens. It's very unique. So we probably have about 50 to 60,000 people throughout the weekend, and had some of the best people in business, the best people in innovation, especially in AI, come speak and give information and tangible items that the audience can take back, and not even just the audience, speakers, everybody that's around it can take back and actually execute on.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. This was my first time, right? The year you guys invited me, my baby was due the exact same week, so it would have been tough if I didn't want to sleep on the couch in order to get it. But I mean, it's a huge thing, man. So I want to just commend you guys. I thought, you know, the conversation y'all had with 50 Cent was remarkable, right? I think that, I mean, I got to meet a lot of dope people, right? I got to meet Pebbles. Don Peebles, that is, and I think that, you know, the wealth of knowledge and how diverse it was, to your point, right, when culture and business meets, it's legendary, right? I think every person that came there left with something that actually helped benefit their life. So let's actually talk about leading up to InvestFest. Like, how did y'all even get to saying we got to throw the biggest financial conference?
Just looking at the landscape of what you know, other people were doing in the space as far as conferences and different symposiums. Obviously, it's been going on for a long time, but we wanted to be different. We wanted to do something that had never really been done. So that's where the festival idea comes in, to, you know, add the culture aspect. You know, have vendor marketplace, have musical performances, have food trucks. You know, make it fun. Have large stages, like music festivals have, as opposed to like small breakout rooms like most of the business conferences have. So, you know, we wanted to just put our flair on it, our spin on it. You know, everything down to the flyers, how the flyers are curated. It looks like a music festival flyer as opposed to a business conference flyer, right? And the color schemes, and it's in the summertime. Most business conferences are in the fall or spring. So, you know, we just felt like we had reached a point where we needed a signature event that people can really, you know, gravitate to every single year. That was kind of the idea behind InvestFest, and yeah, you know, that was 4 years ago. We did it in Atlanta because at that time, COVID was still kind of at the tail end. So a lot of places like New York, we wasn't able to do events in New York. They still had strict mandates on COVID. So Atlanta had really no mandates at that point in time as far as open for business. So we did it there, and just got a great reception when it comes to entrepreneurship and investors and different things, especially for Black people. That's the Mecca right now. So it went well year one, and it's been rolling ever since.
So, man, I'd be remiss if we ain't actually talk about what Earn Your Leisure is, right? Like, I think the diversity and the brotherhood y'all bring to actually bring about a phenomenal business that's obviously making waves throughout the culture, right? former teacher, former financial advisor. And the crazy thing, y'all started with cell phones. Like, let's actually talk about, right, what Earn Your Leisure is and, you know, what you guys thought it would be and now what you probably think it's going to be 5 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, Earn Your Leisure is a media platform. I think that's the best way to encompass it. We have obviously different branches that come from that, but it started out as a podcast, like you said, from two guys that grew up as best friends, and really were just trying to educate kids at first. You know, started in the classroom and eventually turned into a show. And at first, it was just us talking about the backstories behind sports, business, and entertainment, and we quickly realized that there's an opportunity to actually educate people beyond those realms. And so the entrepreneurial story became the forefront of the show, where we got to talk to people from different avenues, different careers, and they were given their expertise. And as we're learning, the audience is learning. And so it became a very unique thing. It was unlike anything any people had heard prior to that. And it came from some authentic voices. You know, like we take pride in being from the areas that we're from, but be able to understand the business of finance and investing in real estate and all those things. So we wanted to change the temperature. We felt like people were left out of the conversation for so long, and we wanted to make sure that it was given to some people in a digestible manner. And I think that's what we kind of accomplished. And so when you look at us now, obviously having live events, obviously having curriculum coming out, having a book, we're scaling because we're learning the process and we see opportunities inside of the economy and pretty much the world that we still need advancement in. And so when you talk about 5 years from now, I see us as the global force when it comes to educating people who've been underrepresented, undervalued, and forgotten really throughout the diaspora.
I love that you say, you know, global force. Obviously, you guys are in Africa, in Canada, the UK. So I love that. But let's actually kind of come back because you mentioned your curriculum, right? You know, I'm one of those people that when I go on social media, I see a lot of people moving and shaking. And the one thing I haven't gotten was my call, my invitation to go to the White House. And so y'all literally be there like y'all, and you know, like y'all a senator or something. So let's actually talk about what you guys got going on when it comes to the, you know, the actual educational space.
Yeah, we developed a curriculum with a principal, Travis Brown, who's a principal in the Bronx. And it's a new age educational module when it comes to financial literacy and entrepreneurship, teaching kids not only, you know, the basics as far as what is stocks and what is real estate, but how to actually become an entrepreneur, right? What's the mindset of an entrepreneur? What's the challenges that you're going to face? Why is it important to invest in stocks? Like actually breaking down the differences between, you know, big blue chip stocks and small chip stocks. So it's like it's a variety of different things I think that come into play. But when you think of education, a lot of times financial literacy is not taught in the school
At all.
and that's one of the most important things that we need in life. No matter what you do for a career, you're going to have to pay taxes. You know, you have a retirement plan. You have to live somewhere. So being that, you know, we have to face these things as adults, we thought it would be a good idea to, you know, empower the youth with it. So we started in the Bronx last year. We had 12 schools that we did a pilot program with, and
Nice.
that went great. And we're looking to expand it this year throughout New York City, and then hopefully, you know, nationwide for sure.
I love that. So let's, right, obviously we talked about what Earn Your Leisure is, but you guys started in the classroom, right? Like Earn Your Leisure as what it is today started in the classroom. And I actually love what you said, like we're teaching these kids how to actually be entrepreneurs. We're teaching them things beyond just, you know, math and science and reading and comprehension. Like at the end of the day, when it comes to financial literacy, that's the one thing that's not taught. And especially when you think about the traditional school system, it's that we're taught effectively to go into the workforce. We're taught to be workers. And so, you know, why do you think it's so important to teach them about entrepreneurship? And obviously everything else that stems from whether it's taxes, investing, retirement, etc.
Yeah, well, everybody's path is going to be different, right? And so growing up and being a student, then going back to school as an educator, you realize that very quickly. And you realize, like you said, some of the paths are, I mean, pretty much the path is go to school, get good grades, go to a good college, and get a good job. But that's not everybody's fortune. And so we wanted to make sure that everybody was represented. And so when we started teaching the young adults in our community, it's because, again, I was in the school system and I realized that this was something that wasn't part of the educational curriculum. And if I'm being honest, I started to feel complicit in some of the futures of these kids. I'm like, if they're not learning this and I know it, I'm really doing them a disservice. And so we had the opportunity to sit down with kids, ask them their future aspirations, but also have the opportunity to pay them at the end of the program that we were doing. And so it was the first time that they were going to be coming in contact with money. And so there was an opportunity there. If they're coming in contact with money, there's an opportunity to teach them about the value for money. And if they learn this at 14, where will they be at 18? Where will they be at 21? Right? They're going to make a very big decision at 18, right? Whether they're going to go to college or not. There's a business decision that's being made, and they might not even know it until it's too late. And so we wanted to equip them with as much information, as much tools, and enough resources to make the decision that was best for them. So that's where it started at. Obviously, the recording of those classroom sessions, people gravitated toward because my kid needs to know that. I need to know that.
Yep.
And then obviously it's scaled into what you see as Earn Your Leisure now.
Right now, right, to the viewers, what would you say maybe the top 3 things, topic-wise or skill set-wise, that every high schooler should know going into college?
Student loans is important because, a lot of times people are going to take out student loans when they go into college. So just understanding how that works, if it's a good decision or if it's not, how interest rates work, be properly educated on student loans, I think is important. Credit cards, another thing that, you get introduced to a lot of times when you go into college, freshman year, sophomore year, you don't have money and you use credit cards, and that debt could carry with you for 10 years later. So that's definitely extremely important as well. And I think just entrepreneurship, just learning the fundamentals of it. You might not be a business owner in college, but at least just having that mindset early, it might be able to have some side hustles that you can earn some money while you're in school. But more importantly, just thinking about that while you're actually going through the curriculum of college. So you don't always just have a mindset of, I'm going to get a degree just to work for somebody. You could, have parallel plans to actually become a business owner.
Yeah.
That's powerful, right? I think the average person is graduating college with like $37,000 in debt, and it's only going to get higher and higher, right? Because inflation, tuition in like 18 years for a private university going to be half a million. So it's going to get crazy. So I love those topics, and especially credit cards, right? I remember going on a college campus, you getting pre-authorized for everything. And so I think that's pretty powerful. But look, guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to dive more into conversations with Troy and Rashad of Earn Your Leisure. All right, guys, welcome back to Financial Freestyle. It's your boy, Raw Smack, and I'm here with none other than my brothers, Troy and Rashad. They literally are making big waves, and I'm obviously honored my brothers are here. But once again, man, let's actually talk about this curriculum, because that's something that I think we all need. I know when I was in school, I'm learning about Greek mythology, obtuse and acute triangles, and I could promise you I've never used that again in life. I might have tried to say I'm Romeo when I was trying to spit game or something, but outside of that, you don't need Shakespeare. But let's actually talk about kind of y'all curriculum. Like, what are some of the lessons, some of the lesson plans and things like that you guys have for the kids?
I think you just made the point, right? Like, you remember those things, but you never use it. Now imagine learning things that you're actually going to remember and actually use. And so the curriculum is filled of lessons like that. I think one of the important pieces is that wealth mindset. And so we have a whole unit on wealth principles, because in order to become wealthy, you need to know the actual mindset, the characteristics of people who have actually attained that. And so we go a deep dive in that. And one of the most impressive lessons, and I love, was the stock market and investing unit. When we went to sample the curriculum, we watched kids actually come up with companies. They went from not knowing what companies are to actually looking at what they're using and realize that these are actually publicly traded. And so we take a deep dive in there, understanding technical analysis, right? We talk about charts, and watching kids seeing it for the first time, it's eye-opening. But they're at that age where, like, at 18, now you can open a brokerage account. So now you're becoming equipped with the information that you can actually apply once you leave high school. And so when you're making that decision to go to college, I know some kids will graduate at 17, you can now start implementing some of those lessons. And now it's not, hey, I'm not taking that credit card. I have a brokerage account that I'm seeing investments grow, and maybe I'm taking 10% out of that. And so we want to, again, give them as much resources and as much knowledge as possible so that they can execute and actually start seeing tangible results.
That's hard, bro. I mean, I think about when I first went away to college, it was '08. And obviously we know what was going on there. And that's when I actually accidentally stumbled across investing. Had no prior knowledge, right? Wasn't taught, but it was like, man, it's a kid in my class day trading, literally in the middle of Econ 101. Bro, what are you doing? And so, exposure is obviously the greatest teacher. And so exposing kids at that high school level, that's different, bro. That's You know what I mean? That's
Game changer.
Yeah, I mean, that's a trickle down effect where now you're able to impact, inner city kids for generations to come, because it all starts with exposure and a conversation.
Yeah.
Because when you think about the wealth gap in this country, it's only going to continue to get wider and wider for those who don't own any assets.
And you could imagine when a kid is now learning this in school and he's bringing it home, and now parents are getting to learn from kids. And so now the family, that conversation at the dinner table looks a lot different. Like, we can talk about topics that are not going to benefit us, or we can talk about tangible things that can benefit us, not just individually, but as an entire family and entire community.
Yeah, when you think about, and y'all probably at that stage because y'all kids are a little older, but like, the different math methods of, they like, well, we got to do the PIMDA method of this, that, and the third. But like now when you're engaging with your kids, oh no, we actually talking about retirement accounts today. What do you got, Mom? What do you got, Dad? And that changed the entire family dynamic, man. So obviously, for the interest of time, let's actually talk about some of the things y'all got. What's on the horizon for EYL?
We have a book that's coming out. It's called You Deserve to Be Rich. And that's coming out in January 14th. So that
You Deserve to Be Rich.
Yeah.
I like that. Y'all make sure y'all get that.
Yeah, you can pre-order it now. But now that was just a legacy play for us. It felt like that was something that was needed. We've been doing this for about 6 years now, and we have not put out any literature yet. It's everything has just been videos and different events, stuff like that. So this is going to be, a manual on wealth creation, everything.
The blueprint.
Yeah, for sure. Stocks, real estate, business, but more importantly, understanding how things work, overcoming fear, putting it in a language that people can understand, and really, trying to motivate people to really take that step forward, whether it's to make your first investment, whether it's to make your first million, whether it's to start a business, whether it's to buy your first home. Like, sometimes people just need a little push forward. So this is our contribution to that. And hopefully people can gain a lot of value from that. So it's something that we're very excited about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think to the tens of thousands of people that have watched you guys live, right, on your YouTube, whether it's Market Mondays or just normal EYL, I think, everybody is one of those, wait, what you say again? Right, I think so actually having the blueprint is going to, really help shift and change the culture. And so like, what are some of you guys' like maybe favorite chapters in the book when it comes to, saying, okay, I think this is going to for sure change somebody's life?
Yeah, I think the chapter when we talk about financial trauma, it's not a conversation that's discussed, and we get to actually talk about some of our personal stories about how that has impacted us. I know in part, being a son of immigrants and trying to figure out real estate in America is tough. And so watching my parents navigate that, watching them make decisions, watching us fall, and watching us rise again, it's part of a conversation that we don't talk about, right?
Yeah.
You just move along with the punches, not knowing that the effects are taking their toll on you. And so my story is not just a unique one. There are so many people that have come through similar circumstances and have never even addressed them. And so talking about that is super important. Again, I think the investment and chapters are important, but the future of technology is important, right? And so how many pieces of literature are talking about AI, talking about cryptocurrency? I think we've come to a space where it's like, all right, we become an authority. Let's talk about our opinions on it and how we can see ourselves benefiting, not just us, but a community benefiting from it in the future.
Financial trauma. Nobody talk about that, right? Like in order to truly gain that generational wealth, you got to overcome that generational trauma. And what they don't realize is like those past financial traumas is passed down from generation to generation too. I remember, as kids, certain relatives don't answer the phone after a certain time. It might be a bill collector. Well, that's now innate. That's in the back of my mind. I'm conditioned to think it's okay to just carry a balance, right? I think it's okay to maybe not even pay my minimum, right? And so that really leads to a lot of, poor money management. And so I think, talking about that, right, is something that a person got to understand what it is to actually overcome it to become, on that pathway to being financially free. I'm going to go back to one of the other topics you mentioned, and that's kind of the future, right? Let's actually talk about AI. Let's actually talk about crypto because, I could attest that I've been hearing you guys, and I shout out to the entire, EYL family, right? You've been in NVIDIA calls since when I probably only had one kid. I got 3 kids now, and so the idea is like always being forward thinking. I think in our culture, we first to a lot, right? We made Clubhouse pop. We first to any of the new TikTok trends. We'll be the first to do that, but we're not owning anything. And I think a lot comes with being able to see what the future is going to bring, but now actually owning some of that. So let's kind of talk about what you're thinking on the whether AI, the crypto side or whatnot.
Yeah, I think AI is the now and it's the future. You know,
Right.
2 weeks ago we heard Bill Gates, who was instrumental in creating the personal computer and the internet, say that this is the most important technology of his lifetime. And those are strong words.
That's tough.
Right? And so we have to figure out, number one, how we're innovative inside that space, how we're creating opportunities in that space, but taking advantage of it from an investment standpoint. And so, yeah, we can talk about NVIDIA. That's great. But do we know what NVIDIA does? Right? So it's explaining what a GPU is to an audience who may have not even heard that before. Right? We use the devices. We need to look what's inside it and realize there's an economy that's being built inside of these chips. Who's producing them? Is it Taiwan Semiconductor? Right? What does Supermicro do? Right? What does Micron do? And so once we start peeling back the layers, we see opportunities, and not only those opportunities to invest, but these are the companies of the future. Right? When we hear Sam Altman talk about data centers, and that's what we're talking to the government about, we should be looking who's building them, what goes inside them, who's powering them, who's protecting them, how they have storage capacities. And so there's opportunities, but the exposure to the information is important. I think we've done a pretty good job of providing people with information. Now it's time to activate and execute with it.
That's the thing, right? Information without execution is just like a tree falling in the woods and nobody around, doesn't make a sound. And so I think you guys put out very meaningful content on a daily, you know. So in the interest of time, right, what would you go, if you can go back in time, what would you tell 18-year-old Rashad and tell 18-year-old Troy?
I mean, just to, to have no fear, just to do it. We started social media, but I wanted to do social media way before any of this happened. But just, procrastination, self-doubt, you just you don't think it's going to work. And that's something that, I definitely think a lot of people suffer with. Like, just they have good ideas, but they don't fully think that it's going to work. They self-sabotage, they listen to their friends, they listen to their family. So just to do it, like that's the best thing, just to do it. If it doesn't work out, it's just a learning experience. It's no failure, it's just lessons. So that would be my advice to myself. It's just every idea that I ever had, to execute it in the moment and not wait, not have to, think about it for too long, not delay it. Like just execute it at a quick speed.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would tell 18-year-old me that the world is your oyster. There's opportunity, everything. Think big and never minimize what you're doing. I used to, people would ask me what book you read, and I was like, I really don't like reading books. It wasn't that I didn't like reading though. And so I was reading magazines and I was reading newspapers and I was reading internet articles. I just wasn't reading books.
Fact.
And so I did love reading, which actually helped me out in the future because I came from a background in education, but I taught myself how to trade. I taught myself about finance because I was an avid reader. And so it's just about the topic. But if people ask me, did you like to read? I say, nah, I don't like reading. I don't read books. Right. So never minimize what you do and take advantage of every opportunity that's given to you.
My brothers, man, I truly appreciate
it,
y'all.
I appreciate
coming
you, man.
on here, man. Everything y'all do, y'all know we brothers in it. I am grateful for the platform y'all always are giving to others, and more importantly, educating the culture, right? Educating the youth. And so that's our time, guys. This is Financial Freestyle. It's your boy, Ross Mack. Big shout out and special thanks to my guys, Troy and Rashad of Earn Your Leisure. Make sure y'all tune in to next Monday. We're going to continue to make history.
This content was not intended to be financial advice and should not be used as a substitute for professional financial services.